And good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Fireside Cast. I'm Eki in the booth with deltamarket and underscore on production. We are going to be bringing you Quake Live versus Anglerfish on Process, Bagel, and Sultry tonight for your upper bracket final for the advanced division. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I've already got a prediction locked and loaded. I don't know about you, deltamarket, but I mean it. This is your calling. If you have a prediction and you haven't gambled yet, you should take a quick little look at the prediction in the Twitch chat. Get it twisted. You will profit.
Yeah, as ecchymoses said, get your predictions in. We love some gambling here on Fireside Casts. And for those of you just tuning in, if you haven't been watching the advanced season, you'll be pretty surprised looking at both these teams. You might be thinking, wait, I thought these were invite teams or something. But no, these teams are in advanced. They're both, I believe, the top two seeds in advanced. I might be wrong about that. They did play each other in the regular season. I think Anglerfish won one of them convincingly and then lost by a narrow margin. So these two teams are ready to show which one's going to be better because they had that kind of trade-off in the regular season, neither of them getting the upper hand. Either way, what's your prediction, ecchymoses? You were talking about that.
Well, I was at the hair salon earlier, and my hairstylist said that Quake Live would win this game 2-1. And looking at the stats, I checked out the league standings a little bit before we ended up going live. It looks like both of these teams only have a win rate difference in rounds by, if I remember right, 0.12%. Just going off of that alone, and of course, the match that they had a little bit later into their season where it was on Sunshine, I think, and Quake Live squeaked out a 2-1 dubski against Anglerfish, with them losing 1-5 against Anglerfish on Snakewater, I think in week 3. It's a little bit of a turnaround. I don't think it's as much of a turnaround as they'd hope, but I think Quake Live, if they play their cards right, I mean, they have Moose and Minaj. Both of these players I know are very, very strong scouts. And of course, both of them are on scout. So I have no doubt in my mind that the scout game for Quake Live is going to be on lock. I mean, that's going to be cemented in the ground. No doubt in my mind. But I don't really know much about Anglerfish for this season. I don't really know how they all work together. So I gotta kind of go with my gut, and of course the hairstylist, and just kind of put my money on Quake Live for this one in a 2-1 dubski.
I see. That might be one of the hairstylists of all time giving you the lowdown on advanced grand finals. As I look at Anglerfish, the thing that really stands out to me, well, two things. The first one is, where's Giblert? Why isn't that guy playing? I feel like Giblert should always be on Anglerfish. He's not playing this season, though. The second thing is there's Denisovich on Demo Man. That stands out. You were kind of hyping up those scouts over on the side of Quake Live, but Denis, that guy can do 450 on any map, so gotta look out for that. That head-to-head might be one of the more important ones. Dennis versus Use, and then, as you said, the scouts. Slicer Rogue's internet has died, so we currently have 11 players in the server. We've got all the taunts going off, the pregame taunts, establishing dominance, who paid more to win. So if you win the taunt game, it's kind of like you lose, right? Because you paid more.
Dude, this tower is crazy. Hold on. Check out the taunt tower at mid, though. Oh, they're destroying it! I don't know if we got it on camera in time to see it before it all got broken down. I think they're rebuilding, but they're all hitting the shred alert right about now. This Vio and Dennis are actually merging into one unit right now, just above Taz at the base of the tower here, and it is ever growing. I don't think this thing is showing signs of stopping anytime soon. But I guess whoever ends up being the final one on top here, I think, is who's gonna win the game. I think that's what they're going for here. It's like a sign.
Yeah, a pregame sign. Those always are the most accurate since we started casting this game. Um, what do we have the pick bands?
Yes, we do. I believe, yeah, here they are. So Actually, if you wanna go ahead and read these since you brought it up, then go right on it.
Why not? I'm disappointed because Clearcut got banned by Anglerfish. I mean, like, Clearcut's kind of the map. We was in playoffs a lot in like the early seasons of RGL. Season 1, I think I played Clearcut actually in playoffs myself, season 1, 2, and 3. So, and it was in like every invite grand then up to like the 5th season, I think. But either way, Clearcut getting banned, Quake Live banning Snakewater, Anglerfish being boring and picking Process. Then Quake came out, picked Bagel, banned Sunshine, and Anglerfish picked Sultry. So this is going to be, Ecchymoses thinks it's going to be 3 maps. Maybe he just wants to see Sultry.
I am a sultry hater. I will say with my full chest, I am a sultry hater. But I do love covering a good 3-map series. So for once in my life, I'm gonna say I want to see Sultry on my computer screen while covering this advanced upper bracket final. Solely for the content, solely for the entertainment to see these two teams kind of duke it out. Because, I mean, I feel like no matter who picks which map, it's going to be a kind of, bare knuckle boxing kind of fight. Because, again, both of these teams seem to be extremely competent. I mean, obviously, Anglerfish is an ex-invite team. I don't know what their invite record was, if they ever placed very high or if they were, mid-low invite. I can't really remember to save my life here, but all I know is that they are an ex-invite team. Quake Live has a lot of strong players, a lot of top 3 main finishers now moving up to advanced. Like I said, Minaj and Moose both being players I recognize as very strong, and both of them being top 3 main finishers, I believe. But we are going to go live to this first round of Process, the Anglerfish map pick. I'm going to let you go ahead and take this first mid away. What are you looking at right off the bat?
I'm on Tristan as he sends it to mid. I was hoping he would land on Yusa's head, but instead, just faded. Didn't want any smoke, but he's going to be still playing passive. Everyone's been passive so far, it looks like. Nothing too crazy, but there's the high bomb finally by our Anglerfish roamer, landing on Yusa's head, doing all the damage, but not enough, as Slicer Rogue actually goes down to Taz. Anglerfish seems like they want to sell out. They're running forward, and Bio actually found a couple. 2 down, but not the medic yet. Dennis is staying in pretty aggressively. Anglerfish trying to cap up the point, maybe going to sell it for the medic, but no soldiers up means they're just going to have to run away.
Yeah, I like that refight from the side of Quake Live there. They recognize that Anglerfish kind of overextended there. Sending 2 of those players over the point while you'd already lost 3, I think is just... maybe it's like a heat of the moment thing. They're trying to find those free picks that are right in front of them, but they just went a little too far forward, and they ended up paying the price for it, the iron price, if you will. So they're going to be down 50% Uber, but it does look like Quake Live wants to take this through IT. They're going to rip it fast, and they're going to be running their scout through with their demo. Not quite able to find any picks for it, but the Beam and Scout, Moose, and Sin here are going to be committing deep. Sin very weak here, very close to death, and so is a lot of their team. Moose here on 4 HP inside of last is going to get picked up by Vio, and that is going to be a successful cap on second for the side of Quake Live. But now it's Anglerfish with the Uber looking to push out through 1 and milk for as long as possible. They are going to be able to get some good cap time on that point, and I think they're just going to be able to bully away the side of Quake Live, force them out, and I think they're going to keep committing. They're going to keep shoving through IT here, as we don't even have a moment to stop and think about what just happened on 2 as Anglerfish is in. They want mid. They see the red mist in the air, and they are taking mid with little to no contest from the side of Quake Live. And I mean, what can they really do besides have someone try and go for a sack at this point?
Yeah, they have actually their roamer in IT who finds a frag, but on the other side, trades are going down. That roamer finally goes down, but Roam being down, Anglerfish, I should say, not Roam. They do have the Roam Scout though. are down 2, so there's a chance for Quake Live to try to do some sort of force, and it looks like they got someone behind. Soldier, who did so much damage to Slice, actually only 1 rocket. That was just a good surf by Slice. Didn't do any more follow-up with that surf. Brummies goes down, but Quake Live doesn't care about being down a player. They're pushing out of last on a 5v6 even Uber. That is some interesting decision-making, and it looks like they get forced for this decision. Moose gets the counter-force off, but this Uber is so much worse. Sin has to leave. He has barely a second, but he makes it out in time. Moose did not, though, and Denisovich goes down in the backlines. Both scouts have been graded off for Quake Live, and I think we're going to see a settle down. You can't really push without scouts, especially onto a map like this where there's high ground.
Yeah, there's no way that either team would, I think, even consider trying to take more than a couple steps towards a doorway. I mean, if they wanted to maybe disobey that line theory a little bit, I think they would 100% get punished for it. But we do have Tristan up on Sniper peeking through sewer here, anticipating maybe someone coming through from the side of Quake Live, but no one's going to come through, so he's going to start moving up here. Wants to get that peek in through lower lobby. Might be able to find Taz here if he plays his cards right, if he peeks at the opportune time. Taz is pretty deep into lobby, all things considered, is trying to find a spam angle. Tristan is peeking, whiffs the shot, actually doesn't whiff, he headshots, I believe, no, body shots rather, and forces Taz away from that door. That is going to give Anglerfish a little bit of space inside of lobby, but their main focus right now just has to be controlling this space at this point, because they need that gun taken down, and they need 5 under control, really, to kind of get that done. They can't really peek through 4. That gun's just going to mulch them. If they peek through 1 or 2, they get met with a storm of projectiles. Tristan is actually going to get bombed by Brummies. He jumps over towards Rollout and finds him. So with Anglerfish being down a player now, I'm expecting a counter to come out from the side of Quake. But actually, they have Minaj up on Sniper, so they're just going to run the good old Sniper v Sniper stalemate classic.
That is what they're doing. We see Use in 1 take a 1v1 versus a scout. No one went down there, though. This Sniper 1v1 is no more. We have a Spy, actually, probably just checking off classes. Gonna, yep, go back to the Australian. Gonna try to take someone's head off with that sniper rifle. It looks like Anglerfish doesn't really want to keep that going, though. They did not continue with their sniper, so they're just going to be on their cookie cutter classes. I'm expecting to see some sort of sack. We did see Anglerfish leave lobby area. They want to heal up, talk about what they're doing, and it looks like they're getting set up for some sort of play through 2, where it looks like they'll be sending their soldier, pocket soldier, Kyler, who sees that soldier, who sees the sniper by the resupply shutter, and there's a 2-man sack, 3-man sack, but it finds nothing. They push through this door, this enclosed area, and really just kind of did it blindly after only spotting the sniper, and they get punished for it, have to go all the way back to mid. I think they're probably going to get their spawners in time. They're definitely going to get those spawners actually just in time, 0.1 seconds away, so they're going to be comfortable here holding.
Yeah, Anglerfish has a very, very strong hold here. I mean, they don't really have to give any space. They've got that Uber. They've got those players, like you said, like 0.01 seconds away from getting denied, but just barely able to nab that forward spawn, and it looks like they're gonna be wanting to rip it through Al-Qaeda maybe, or at least get some pressure in for some kind of sack. It is gonna be Taz jumping towards Al-Qaeda, is going to eat a lot of damage. It is gonna be a jump coming from Tristan, but is not quite able to land over that fence. Dennis going down, now Vio as well. There is a scout trying to push forward and get the pick onto the soldier, potentially the beam. They do use on mid here as Taz, I believe, gets that force with a nice jump in, and that is going to give Quake Live a free mid point without even having to use that Uber. They kind of just used all of that pressure, realized the entirety of Anglerfish was in sewer, and tried to wrap them, and it kind of just scared them away.
Yeah, we do see a soldier sack. Kyler into choke does a little bit of damage, but you know, that bomb might have worked in Seagull's frag vid. Doesn't work anymore. Everyone knows about it. Just gonna go down. Anglerfish really trying to buy time, because if you look at those Ubers, it's 50%, and Quake Live knows this. They're just sending it in. They have the player frag. They just want to go before the other team gets Uber. They're going through 5. There is a sniper to contend with on the Great Mage, who hits in. What a headshot. That is the shot heard on this match. That's a statement. Anglerfish We might not be good at breaking the last pushes so far, but we're not going to let you break ours. So Anglerfish, being resilient here, now has their own uber advantage to push out of last with. They do see Brummies jump away. All the hiders have been cleared. No one's hiding in that little corner because they've been spotted. You're not hiding if you're spotted. As goes down. Minaj spawning on Sniper, might be holding in the forward spawn. It looks like that's probably what... Yeah, no, they're not in the forward spawn. They're somewhere else.
He's actually holding out towards Sewer. Goes for the shot. Is able to get a body shot, I believe, onto Kyler there, but not able to really get that kill. Does manage to, have him picked off by a scout, but, there's only so much the Sniper can do in that situation. I'm surprised he actually didn't get picked off as that Uber got used by Anglerfish here to take mid. And I do believe we have Taz in red Sewer, looking to maybe get some ground, is trying to take the MGE with the scout, is winning currently, but big fight is happening towards the blue choke here. That's going to be a nice headshot from Minaj, going to be able to find Great Mage as Dennis also goes down. Taz buying a lot of time, distracting one of those scouts and taking him down so low, he's not even able to contribute to that fight that was happening in the choke. So doing roamer things, as Roamer should do, just being a nuisance to that team. You'll love to see it. You love to experience that, really, if you are the Roamer. But we do have Vio caught in blue sewer, getting pinched by Brummies, and with the help of some spam from Taz, is going to go down. Huge fight happening on... Or it's not even a fight, really. It's just a huge push from the side of Quake Live, as they are going to rip this through one with that Uber ad they use in. Scout going to be moving up towards top left, but the bomb by the demo is a little futile, not quite able to get any space. That is going to be a soldier jumping towards rollout, but there's no pressure on the point, no stickies, no nothing, and Anglerfish is not going to be able to hold as Quake Live, it takes the first round of the game after about 9.5 minutes of back and forth.
Yeah, it kind of felt like Quake Live was in control of that whole game. Even when they were on last, it seemed like they were always the aggressor. They were always the one taking the fights, taking the initiative. They just lost the first mid, so we're going to see what happens this mid if they can fix their stuff. Use is getting destroyed by Dennis so far, so not the start they want. This time, both teams mirroring again. Who's going to be the one to jump first? It looks like it is Brummies sending it across. Just a fade bomb, though. And then Tristan sending it again. Not fading. Committing on that health pack. 3 down on the health pack of Anglerfish. These Quake Live players are desperately running away. But Anglerfish, will they chase in time? They do not want to chase. They believe in the scout speed. They're just going to slowly walk in and take their second point.
Yeah, Anglerfish there, very strong display on that mid, having the ability for that soldier to kind of commit onto that health pack, just the comms being clear enough for that to even get through and have everybody collapse all as a unit there, I think is pretty much what secured Anglerfish second here. Not even just the mid, they have second for free. Even if they don't have the med down for the side of Quake Live, they have themselves in such a dominant foothold here that they're going to be able to take lobby pretty early if they're quick enough, if Vio is able to get to the point in time. And at this point, it's just a matter of time until we see an off class come up from Anglerfish, or maybe an exchange attempt. Maybe they try and rip it fast. Maybe they send Vio in to die on scout and come up sniper. Maybe we see a spy play, honestly. This feels like it could be a good time to pull up some spy as they have a sniper and NG.
Could be good to go spy, but if you hit every headshot, sniper's good too. Tristan does not care about sticky traps. He's standing on top of like 3 of them. Use finally deaths, and Tristan, I really wonder what was going through his mind.
Oh my goodness, Minaj.
We've seen this before. Anglerfish, they just go down 3 in 1 and 2. I don't know why they're trying to sack through 1 and 2, and now they're getting nuked on. Taz does go down. It looks like Quake Live wasn't able to just take it in, but they did get in a little slower. The Uber exchange is going to happen. Vio's trying to find what he can to make this exchange worthwhile, but it looks like they're just surrounded. I'm really worried for Anglerfish. Can Vio just shot? And he does, though. He takes down Moose. That's what was needed. Minaj hopefully gets caught out if you're an Anglerfish fan. But yeah, Sin goes down to Dennis. Vio is chasing to last, sees these 2 players, and they're going to bring it to point. Anglerfish, I was kind of hating on their 3-man sack, but maybe that's what they wanted. Maybe they wanted to bait the push.
Maybe. I mean, Anglerfish, they have shown time and time again that, they're able to collapse very well. That mid was very telling of that, where if they see people set off, they will just kind of divert their attention to it. They taste blood, they smell blood in the water, if you will, and they immediately flock toward it. They take down the ones that are weak, and I think that's kind of what we're going for with that push. But we are going into our third mid as the scoreline has been tied up 1-1, waiting at this point for a soldier to maybe go in and take some space. Taz moving towards that pack, but is on the low ground. Does look like Anglerfish has control of the height the best here. Taz going to be bombing in, committing into the sad corner. Going to be, I believe that is Brummies as well, jumping in. A lot of damage coming into Anglerfish's sewer here. A lot of their players in red HP right now. Everybody needs to get healed up before they recommit, but they do have Brummies down, so they are going to try and pressure off this player. And Minaj going to be taken down very low on the side of red crate, red sad corner, if you will, and is going to get taken down. That's a 2-pick mid win for the side of Anglerfish, and I think they're looking to get a little bit more off of this if possible. Try and use as much of this player ad as they possibly can, as Dennis does not fear the 3 stickies placed in front of him. Does take him down. We do have, I believe this is Brummies coming in through blue sewer, is going to be meeting Great Mage, will be able to find the pick onto him, as well as that pack that is going to be a bomb coming in from, I believe that was Kyler, who was able to get a lot of damage into that choke. Not quite able to find the force, but was able to bully away a lot of the players on Quake Live and make sure Anglerfish was able to hold on to that mid, prevent them from actually pushing in.
Yeah, they did prevent push from happening, but with Brummies down, there's a chance for Anglerfish to do something, but Taz is high-bombing onto Trash, takes Dennis very low, who gets cleaned up by the the pressure from Moose, who also takes down Tristan, but Anglerfish is just going in. They get force, though. They don't have a demo, don't have a soldier. They get the counter force, and Brummies, Vio managing to find Brummies is so big there. Might give Anglerfish a chance to stay alive as they desperately try to leave through the sewer door. Vio taking this aggressively rather than just running. Use is trying to chase. There's a distraction happening in sewer, but Tristan does the fast rollout and takes down Use. And so Quake Live, it seems like they didn't know what they wanted to do. Did they want to chase the person who went behind? Did they want to chase the medic? They split their attention, and the respawners for Anglerfish came in time, and they've come in such a good time that they can actually push off of those fresh frags onto Use and Minaj, which they are doing through the trash area. Brummies jumping over as well as
so high.
Taz, yeah, doing that high bomb. Goes down, though. These soldiers, they sent it, but they couldn't land their rockets, and now, because they couldn't hit those shots, Quake Live is simply down 3.
Yeah, this is looking a little rough for the side of Quake Live, as Anglerfish now pushing into that last. They are going to have some of their spawners. It will be players, even players rather, but fortunately, as soon as I say that, Caster's Curse, Kyler is going to be able to find the pick onto Minaj. The Ubers are going to come out. It is an exchange on the roll at a point looking at it from Anglerfish's perspective. It is a little bit better for the side of Quake Live, but they don't have as many players up as I think they'd like to. Buddhist is about to go down, does get that lucky arrow right at the final moments of his life and is able to survive. And Quake Live will be holding on to their last for just a couple moments longer, as Anglerfish doesn't want to push in. They need one of their players to show up. Quake Live is ready to kind of just set themselves up for a last hold here. They don't want to overextend themselves. They don't want to do anything too crazy. Vio is up on Spy. This is a committed Spy play here. Has moved in to the right side of last, looking to decloak in right shutter. Maybe go for a stab and sap here, but honestly might not even need to with the gun being a level 1. Is going for the decloak. He goes in, misses the beam, is not going for it though, gets the sentry. It is a stab and sap. It is going to be a soldier bombing in. Maybe they're looking for that sack attempt there. They are going to be able to get the gun. Vio is still alive, up in heaven on 11 HP. But this does pretty much put Anglerfish down 2 players, as they have a dead soldier and Vio is stuck behind with no health. Pretty much playing Calm Spy at this point.
Yeah, but there's no way they're going to be doing anything. That is Quake Live with the Spy. They're going to be waiting for the Spy, looking for him. They do pick out the Pyro because they want to just take him down. But Vio leaving, I'm assuming he's probably going to go back to spawn just to confuse the other team as much as possible. However, you know, they can just... Quake Live can pull out their own Spy and Spy check, so it's not like they're going to be like fooled by this over the long term. But Vio actually gets healed up to go back in. I'm surprised. I thought he was just going to go switch off. I don't think... You know, Quake Live, they never actually checked for the Spy, so they might have gotten complacent, but Vio just decloaks on a soldier, goes down. Maybe he's like, why am I on this class? Why didn't I just switch off? Let me just die. They only have 2 minutes left, by the way.
Yeah, 2 minutes left in the round timer and counting down rapidly as we wait for some kind of play to come out from Anglerfish. Now with Quake Live being down 2 players, this would be an opportune time to try and make something happen. The Uber is going to get used by the side of Quake Live as they try and take it in aggro and catch out as many players as they can, get that force so they have less Uber trying to come into that last. Sentry is going to go down, the Uber does come out, and it is now over for the side of Anglerfish, but they are getting a lot of damage. I think potentially Dennis may die here as that is going to be Taz jumping forward, is going to be able to find the last 2 rockets onto Dennis, is going to find him, but Taz will get cleaned up by Great Mage. Anglerfish losing 2 here compared to only 1 death on the side of Quake Live. That is a certified beefed last push, but I think they're going to try and commit to it through 1 here potentially, as Vio and Great Mage die here. No scouts alive to Chariot Slice Rogue out. It's just I believe this is Tristan alive. With Dennis here now, though, they are going to be able to find that cheeky pipe onto Minaj, the Hail Mary lock pipes, and get a little bit of a safety net established for them as they set up on this mid here.
Yeah, Tristan is in IT, taking a fight with the soldier, but he gets cleaned up. Kyler's pushing. They're down a player. Anglerfish, they wanted to push every door. I didn't realize Dennis also went in. Anglerfish, I'm not sure what they were going for, but now they're down 2 and they're just running. They might exchange. It looks like Anglerfish is kind of considering it. Kyler jumping away. Not sure if the trade's going to happen, but here it is. I'm surprised they're taking this with just a scout. They do get the force off, but if you look at those Ubers, Sins is going to last way longer, and the Great Mage gets dropped somehow, even though he's the only Uber target. Slicer Row going down. Soldier jumping behind is Tristan for a back cap. Maybe this was the play. It looks like it will block. He's blocked it for just half a second, but Taz comes back. Anglerfish, I mean, I don't really know what the plan was there.
I mean, it seemed like they wanted to pressure for that back cap, and it almost worked. They were almost there, but at the last moment, Taz just hit the fast couple speed shots that were necessary to get through that choke, ends up stopping the cap there, which is absolutely crucial for Quake Live here, as they want to get themselves up in the lead. The scoreline is still 1-1. Nice air shot from Brummies here is going to be able to take down Great Mage, which will give Quake Live a little bit more of a window to try and pressure with one of those scouts down. They know there's not going to be another off class for another 5-ish seconds. They do end up losing Taz, though, which is going to be pretty detrimental. Now Vio goes down. Now Tristan as well. Use getting the quickie kills, mopping them up like crazy here. Quake Live is going to be committing regardless. Doesn't matter if they lose Brummies Taz here. They are going to lose Minaj, though, which is going to, I think, signal the end of their push and potentially losing Use. But no, not quite. Is going to be able to find his way out towards second, and Quake Live going to be positioning themselves towards pipe, anticipating a push from the side of Anglerfish.
Yeah, they are anticipating a push, which is currently happening. Anglerfish taking over the Spire area. Brummies goes down to a pipe from Denisovich. Kyler going down. Both lock and loads finding a frag. Moose takes down Dennis, though. This demo, I believe that's almost a drop, maybe. Looks like Slice wants to run away. The counter Uber is going in. They're leaving through rollout, or maybe not. They're getting body blocked, but actually Great Mage goes down. Use hits. Yeah, the lady pipe, lock and load. Quake Live, they went so aggressive. I was actually worried for them. Anglerfish tried to chase them in 1, but Anglerfish were the ones who got punished.
Yeah, Anglerfish there, I think, got a little too greedy. They ended up bunching up in rollout, and with Use pinching there, hit a nice 2 stickies, I believe, onto Slice Rogue. And I think that did a bunch of splash to Dennis, or I think there was a projectile class with him. I'm not too sure. But whoever was next to him, it ended up doing a lot of splash, and he was able to clean it all up with a nice couple lock pipes and another sticky, and with a lot of damage. Minaj actually rolling out on Sniper here is going to be able to pick Vio. There are 8 minutes 40 left until the banning time does kick in. Minaj going to be able to find a second onto Great Mage, and I believe that's Dennis dying much, much earlier as well. Actually, it's going to get on the same spawn wave as Great Mage, so it's not too terrible. It's not 3 separate ones. You can still, you know, cobble together some kind of last hold. At least with your Medic alive, you have, you know, a strong chance. But I think Quake Live, they know that they're at a little bit of a disadvantage here. They're going to have to push into last with a Sniper on evens. It's not going to be great, but Minaj, I trust the Sniper gameplay of. I think he'll be able to find some kind of Hail Mary shot. Maybe he'll get owned. Maybe he'll lose an SVS. Vio is up on Sniper, watching 5. They know that They know that Minaj is peeking one. I'm fairly certain. I'm pretty sure Minaj fired a shot, and definitely just fired a shot that is rotating out. So I'm not too sure what Anglerfish is wanting to do here. Maybe they're just playing that sniper super passive until they get their gun set up.
Yeah, they are going to be getting their gun up, which is... I'm surprised Slice Rogue is not up against that wall between 2 and 3 door. The sniper could kind of get an angle through 1 or 2 because those doors are not completely being watched. Sometimes Soldier is there, but he can't watch them both at the same time. There, the hold is finally here. We do see the players peeking lobby for Quake Live. Minaj is watching for the demo towards 3, wider corner, but it's actually going to be Hyler who goes down, not the demo. That's 1 frag is enough for the pressure to continue building as Quake Live shifts over to the 5 door. Minaj gets pushed away by this sniper, but there's action on all sides of the map, especially while the player's down. I'm kind of expecting Quake Live to maybe send a sack off their frag because they're not really doing a whole lot of pressure with it. A little less than I thought. They're out of lobby though, going to be resetting here. Anglerfish, they have to get on these doors without losing players like they have been. They keep having this one player over towards 1 and 2 who is in the sniper's sightline. It makes me really worried for them. It's usually Dennis, and I'm really worried that eventually Minaj is going to find a shot onto them. Theo did spawn on Sniper though, and it looks like some frags went down where the Great Mage with the Frontier of Justice actually taking down Taz on Scout, who switched from Soldier onto Scout when a sack happened.
Yeah, having Taz swap over to Scout there, I think, is a little interesting. Tristan does try to go in and maybe go for some kind of sack, but isn't going to get a lot of damage. Jeez Louise, I couldn't get the words out. And Sin is not going to force, not going to drop, not going to do nothing. Doesn't even, not a single drop of sweat sheds from his brow. So they are going to be able to find the sentry taken down. Taz is on bats here trying to find their way in. That is going to be Brummies, and Use is actually going to be able to find the pick on the sentry again. Minaj going to be able to find Bio. Now Moose going to be able to find Kyler. It is 3 players down for the side of Anglerfish, but I don't think it matters all that much as those players are starting to even out. Moose is going to be able to find Tristan with the help of Taz, and it is just Dennis and Slice Rogue as the last ones alive. They are going to Uber on the point at about the same time, really, as Quake Live. They are going to be able to hold until their spawners show up with even players now as Taz goes down. Now another spawner showing up for the side of Anglerfish. This might be a round reset here as we wait for this final round. Well, not final round, but what could be close to the final round to wrap itself up here, as I don't really see many more round resets coming out from either of these teams unless Quake Live is able to, throw some kind of Hail Mary in, in the next 30 seconds. Maybe they take some kind of crazy fight. Maybe they build it out, take some exchange fight on the last. I don't know what they want to do here. But that seems to be their only option if they want to squeak out another win, get themselves a 2-round lead, and sit comfy.
That is what's happening. We do see the sack, not a sack, a push happening. The gun is down, but Use is just stuck in. Goes air shot by Kyler. Put that one in the frag vid. I don't think there's a chance of this cap going off. Minaj is standing on point. You can't cap as long as there's people on point, and that's demonstrated there. Round reset happening. For this mid, I think we've seen 2 mid wins for Anglerfish. 1 for the side of Quake Live. Who do you think's gonna win this mid?
Honestly, if Anglerfish can try and isolate players like they did in the mid prior, where they go ahead and take that dubski on it and manage to section off 3 players, I think they'll be able to take it home, and that's what I'm hoping that they'll be able to do this time around. But I guess time will tell if they're actually able to do that. Looks like they have a good bit of damage on their side. They do have Tristan going down pretty low. They are going to lose Moose on the side of Quake Live, so having a scout down is going to be pretty nice for the soldiers of Anglerfish. It is just Tristan alive. They need to get him, nice and healthy before he can jump in. Taz is going to get taken down as Great Mage is able to win that MGE duel in the choke, but a lot of damage coming through as Use is able to spam a couple stickies and a couple pipes through that choke point there, and I don't think it's... I think it's a little... It's too little too late here. We do have Tristan trying to jump forward. Is going to get denied by Minaj. And I believe Use there, as he eats a sticky and a meat shot, will get taken down. And at this point, it's on Anglerfish to kind of back away ever so slightly as holding this close. And now it's going to be Minaj pushing through sewer as it's unguarded. This is why you have to back up right there. It's just a little too dangerous to be that far forward. They are going to be able to find Minaj and Brummy. So now this is the one time, if any, that Anglerfish has to try and send someone in through choke or through sewer to try and beam. And that's what they're going to do. The Uber does come out from the side of Quake Live, though. They are going to be pushing through that choke. The back half is being threatened, but Kyler is going to get taken down. Anglerfish going to lose 3 players for it, and probably a 4th as Tristan seems to be caught in. Use does bomb forward, does find Taz, so at least he trades for it, and the beam for the side of Anglerfish will be alive with 30% Uber to his name, maintaining the evens, potentially giving Anglerfish at least some ground to hold on second.
Yeah, Great Mage chasing Brummies in sewer. Is he over chasing though? 13 health. Got the health pack. Vio comes in to bail them out, but on the other side, you know, you put both your scouts in sewer. They can't do anything from sewer. What are you doing? Everyone just floods through choke. Anglerfish, they chased one soldier and they lost their whole team for that frag. Brummy's in chat saying, bro, he's like, I went down. It's not going to show on the logs, but my team basically just won the game because I got chased. And now we see Tristan bombing point along with Dennis doing whatever they can. But that round, honestly, was simply lost due to chasing a soldier in sewer.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of overextension. I think Anglerfish, you know, I think they kind of realized as soon as that happened, they were like, well, this was not supposed to happen. We do only have about 1:20 until banning time kicks in, so this will be the final round, essentially, unless we see some kind of round reset, but I doubt we will, as Quake Live has kind of shown their dominance these last couple of fights. We do have the sniper to mid in the form of Minaj yet again, so I think they want to take this Dubski home quickly, wrap up process, you know, get off the boring map as quick as possible. Is going to be able to find Kyler early, but Brummies is going to go down to the hands of Vio and Slice Rogue. Taz as well, going to be taken down as Great Mage and Dennis are able to section him off. Quake Live not going to be able to win that with this time around, and he does get bombed, actually, as Tristan is able to get in. I don't know if Minaj cratered or killbinded from all the damage. Didn't want to give him the log or whatever, but either way, it is going to be Minaj down. Anglerfish looking to push in here and get themselves another round on the board and reduce the gap that they are suffering by. It is even Ubers here, though, so they need to play around this carefully. Vio is going to be able to find Taz, and now Brummies as well in the hands of Kyler. Is going to be a trade. Uber exchange does happen on top of the point. It is a solo scout for both teams, now flashing Tristan, who's caught up in heaven. There's a lot of cap time coming out from the side of Anglerfish. It's just Minaj able to contest the point right now, but he walks off the point, unfortunately, for the side of Quake Live, and with 8 seconds left in the round, or 8 seconds left until banny time kicks in, Anglerfish is able to squeak out one more round. The real question is, will they be able to keep up that kind of momentum and make this a kind of reverse sweep game where they make it 3-4?
Yeah, that is the question. It can either be 3-4 or 3-4. It cannot be any other score. Well, 4-3 or 3-4, I should say. But we do see Dennis going in across this mid, doing so much damage with the lock and taking down Moose. Minaj takes down Vio, though, but it feels like Anglerfish...
Ooh.
Oh no, Slice goes down. This mid was feeling so dominant, but how does Taz get that frag? How does he do it every time? Anglerfish does end up technically winning the mid, but they're not going to be able to get on Sin. Oh, well, as I say that, they're trying. Why are they chasing so hard? You saying, don't chase me, I'm on Demo Man in lobby. And you guys aren't even the camp mid now. What are you guys doing? We're going to block mid. You're not going to get your forward spawns. Although,
yeah, that
actually,
that was unfortunate.
I was speaking for him, but maybe that's not actually what he was saying, because they didn't actually block mid, which surprised me. I thought Quake Live would just go in and block, and actually they're getting punished for waiting. Minaj goes down, Brummies goes down, the Uber gets forced, but it's a 5v4 Uber. No, it's a 3v5. Vio goes down, but I mean, you got a scout in the demo versus 4 players and better spawns on Anglerfish. They're just going to be sending it in, and Quake Live is respecting this as Kyler goes in, almost finding that final rocket onto Sin, but not quite getting it off in time. Anglerfish down to full ad, going to be holding the midpoint, going to be wanting to take a round off of this Uber. How do you do that? Well, maybe you catch the medic on this Uber, maybe you get in for free. take it for last, but the Uber is rapidly getting closer to equality here as they go through the sewer side of the map. Maybe going to be going through front door. No, they're going through trash. They're not insta-popping, which kind of worries me because we see Brummies going behind, trying to go behind, just buying time. We're going to see the Uber probably come out for the side of both sides as Quake Live gets close. They know they have the Uber, so they send their soldier in who gets the force off, and this Uber, it's so bad for Anglerfish.
Yeah, this Uber is not going to look good for Anglerfish at all. They need to get out quickly, and they're not going to be able to have Slice Rogue leave through that choke as Use is going to bomb forward and take them down. Now Anglerfish has to kind of inch for the beam, who does manage to surf up into the high ground. It's just Great Mage up in their face, but he's 1 HP, and he's not going to be able to get out as Great Mage is able to find the pick onto Sin. Minaj is going to be able to find a couple picks with the help of Moose as well. They are going to be able to find their way into mid here, potentially going to be able to find this kill on the Tristan. But they learn from their mistakes. They're not going to overchase this time around. Or I guess Anglerfish was the ones that overchased last time around, if I am remembering correctly. It does look like we're going to have Tristan go in deep and try to stop that midpoint, but this is too little too late, I fear, as tries as hard as try as they might. That mid is going to go into the hands of Quake Live, but Taz is going to jump forward, trying to land onto Slice Rogue, is not going to be successful. Brummy's coming in, able to salvage a pick onto Dennis. It is not the kind of salvage they are looking for, though, on the side of Quake Live, so now they have to be ready to back out. They don't have the players to hold. They have to get ready to set up on last, and that's a huge bomb coming in from Kyler, trying to shut them out in one. Another bomb coming in from Tristan is not going to die, surprisingly enough. He lands in the face of 3 people, but doesn't go down somehow, some way. Divine intervention, if you will. Does look like we're going to have a push coming in from the right side from Anglerfish. They do see Minaj up on the right side as Buddhist Tristan going to go down to the side of Brummies. Now Moose going to be able to find Kyler, and now Yush going to be able to find Great Mage. 3 players down for the side of Anglerfish. They overextended. They're Ubering into one, trying to take down Yush. It takes so long to get him, though. Now they're getting pinched by Brummies and Taz. This does force Quake Live into backing out into lobby for another couple seconds, but I don't know if this is really what they want. Is they're going to be able to, or they're going to be losing Dennis here to the hands of Moose, and they're not even going to be able to hold on to second, which I think is what they were going for. A bomb coming in from Tristan and Kyler at the same exact time. Vio going to be able to get taken down here, as well as Tristan. Somehow Kyler surviving with 40 HP, but Anglerfish cannot seem to catch a break here, as every time they try to jump in, every time they try to take a fight, something somewhere goes wrong. Someone somewhere is out of position, and they end up paying the iron price for it. They lose far more players than should be necessary, and they have to keep giving ground.
Yeah, they do just keep giving ground. Like I said, it feels like Anglerfish is never in control. They win mid, and then Quake Live just always feels like they have the initiative. It doesn't really make sense because it's such an even game, but that's just the perception. That's what it feels like. It feels like Quake Live just grinds Anglerfish down until they make a mistake, and then they just get a hold and keep going. Vio gonna be on the sniper class, maybe gonna make the magic happen, maybe gonna drop Sin, maybe gonna hit an air headshot. No, gets off the Australian, goes to the French, goes back to the Australian, goes back to the scout. What is this guy doing? He's baiting the cast. That's what he's doing. So we're gonna have Cookie Cutter, nothing unusual here. Taz high bombing over, trying to get on the medic. No, trying to go behind actually on 8 HP. Gets cleaned up. What's happening on the other side of the map? Nothing really. It looks like we have a soldier jumping behind Sewer, actually trying to get on the medic, finds one rocket onto Sin, goes down. Brummies down to 18 health, gets cleaned up by Vio, as Anglerfish is actually going to be keeping up this aggression, taking a page out of Quake Live's book, forcing the exchange on their terms, taking it into mid when Anglerfish wants to. Slicer Rogue running around with like a chicken with his head cut off, doesn't know where his Ubered Scout is, finally finds them at the end of that. Anglerfish down 2 are keeping this push up. I'm kind of surprised by this. They're getting bombed by Brummies, and it looks like Anglerfish wants nothing more to do with this mid-fight.
I mean, Anglerfish just keeps trying to take fights on their own terms, and it starts looking good for them at the start, but then they slowly crumble. The cracks in the armor show very, very quickly, and eventually that set of armor, it corrodes, it shatters, it breaks apart from all of the cracks that are inside of it. They're just too fragmented in these pushes, and I mean, like you said, the medic was running around like a chicken with its head cut off and was looking for their scout. That is going to be Taz trying to bomb in here, trying to land on top of Slice Rogue. Is going to be successful, but isn't going to be able to find that pick onto him. Is going to force him away, though, and make him cower a little bit, as he does get taken down to about 70, actually 40 HP, but regens up just enough to be able to pulled yet again. They are going to lose Brummies on the side of Quake Live, which is their sack. Tristan will die on the side of Anglerfish as well. So it is even players are just waiting and waiting and waiting. And this is kind of how the lovely world of Process Second will go sometimes, where you just stalemate in this kind of fashion, and there's only so much you can do about it. Especially if you're on Anglerfish, you're just gonna have to wait for Quake Live to throw something at you before you can, make a response.
Yeah, we do have a spy up, and they're gonna be trying to bait the sniper. I feel like this play hasn't worked since like 2009. You see an unscoped sniper, and they see you across the map, and what, they just like don't scope, they just run away? I mean, come on. But we do have the Cloak and Dagger out. They are cloaked in, trying to go up, and I feel like if you're on the side of Anglerfish, you're like, yo, where's that sniper now? They have to know. They have to. I do see Slicer Rogue, I think, turning around, and he gets bumped. Brummies, no, this was your moment on cast to win the round. Gets bumped, though. We are going to see what Quake Live is able to make off of this chaos. Maybe there will be enough chaos for a soldier to get in. Maybe the backstab will somehow still happen. But we do have a setup where I don't see it, but Quake Live, it's on them to figure this one out. They are the ones who have the advantage with mid. Anglerfish is happy with a round reset. We do get Taz jumping in, hitting a couple rockets there, but Slicer Rogue on 90 health is more than safe. We do have the Brummies finally go down on that class. And again, Anglerfish, I feel like even though they're up 2 frag, they might want a round reset, but I don't think they agree with me. They're going in. Great Mage is down. Use is down. That's the demo. Denisovich going to be trying to make something happen with that lock and load, spamming it into the choke. But Anglerfish, they don't care about the round reset. They're confident in their chances. They're going to cap this one up, holding mid with ad. I don't think we've ever seen Anglerfish successfully break a second hold, though. They've got to change something up. Something needs to be right in here for them to keep going.
Yeah, I think with Anglerfish, we've seen them. They're very strong with holding, but when it comes to pushing, they seem to blunder a little bit. And it's just really tiny mistakes, and it's multiple of them that just add up. And like I said, the cracks in the armor show very, very quickly, and they spread very, very rapidly. They seem to be in a lot of chaos when they try and push. Taz is gonna get saved by his beam at the last moment. Doesn't crater there. I don't know if he surfed off the rock or what, but somehow Taz manages to survive at the last moment, and will be getting out. Will be able to hold last with his team here, as Quake Live still up around. It is infinite overtime if you're just tuning in, so the scoreline has to be 3-4 or 4-3 either way. There is no other scoreline that is possible. That is going to be a bomb coming in from, I believe this is Taz again, getting in front of that choke and doing a lot of damage. It's going to be Vio, I think, trying to go in for some kind of sack. Will die to use. And even if that wasn't their intended sack, it is what it is. That's your sack now, and you got to work with it. They are going to be sending Taz in. He's going to be landing right on top of the beam. Not going to be able to hit the air shot, though. Is going to be mopped up by Great Mage, but they are going to be able to send in Brummies at the last moment. A little staggered sack there. They will be able to get the force off the side of it does look like Quake Live will potentially have to play a little bit further back to prevent their own beam from getting forced, but I think they don't care. Moose is going to be taking the fight with Kyler up in an upright T. That is going to be Tristan bombing forward. They will get the force out successfully. I think they're going to be able to save their players, or they're going to want to save their players with that Uber rather. And I think with those Ubers evening out, Anglerfish does have slight Uber advantage. They are thinking that they want to try and keep as many players alive as they can to try and take that in, but they are going to be losing Taz and Minaj on the side of Quake Live now. Brummies as well, with both of the soldiers on the side of Anglerfish rolling out through the choke now. I think this is where Quake Live just has to get out. They have to go back to their second and potentially even get ready to leave through rollout or one, as Anglerfish is coming in fast, and they are coming in with relentless speed. Kyler going to be able to spam off that entrance to one. It is going to be Vio overextending, I would say, pretty aggressively. Won't be able to get anything for it. Maybe feeding for an off class here. Maybe he knows that it's about time they come up on Spy. Maybe they come up on that sniper yet again. Who knows? But we are looking at another classic process stalemate of waiting for something to happen with these Ubers.
They are going to be waiting for whatever they can. Apparently it's going to be the Taz sniper. We don't see Minaj on Sniper, probably because they spawned on Engineer to get that gun built up. We're going to have to see how Taz, maybe the second or third string Sniper, is going to be able to perform here. And actually, yeah, maybe he got camera shy, saw the cast was on him. switched off onto Super, doesn't want any of that headshot potential. Anglerfish, they're talking it up. They're in the spot. We've seen them every time. Every time I've seen them do this, what do? They 3-man sack through 1 and 2. And this time, they don't disappoint. Their scout instantly dies in 1. Anglerfish gonna have to figure something out, make something work that is not having their players try to go through 1 or 2 door against an explosive class.
Yeah, this is not looking great for Anglerfish right now. Again, maybe that's an off-class feed, or an off-class sack, rather. And looks like that is what it's going to be. Great Mage is coming up on the Sniper. Well, I don't know what their plan is on Anglerfish, really, because, I mean, they need to break in. They need to get through the into lobby to even make this Sniper really worthwhile. They are in. They actually managed to find use here. Somehow, some way, there wasn't enough forward presence, but they are going to be able to trade out with Kyler. Sentry does go down. Great Mage is going to be able to find it. 2 players down on the side of Anglerfish, but that kind of ends their push. But except Great Mage going to be able to find Moose here inside of lobby. This is pretty big for the side of Anglerfish. Despite the fact they have Taz bombing their Sniper, they can still make something off of this as it is still even players. I don't think they know about Brummies. Getting ready to pinch through IT. Does get spotted at the very last moment. Sentry goes down yet again as Brummies goes down. Yu's going to be going down as well. A nice rocket from Tristan. I believe they're getting pinched by Theo as well. Maybe he will die here. This is a little bit overextended, but the beam does catch up to him. It looks like they're getting ready to take some kind of Uber here as the Uber does come out from the side of Quake Live. They are looking to milk for as long as possible. They're going to be coming on top of the point here as their Uber is beginning to fade in about a couple seconds here. It has now faded. That Buddhist is still alive in the form of Brummies with about full overheal. A lot of cap time on the side of Anglerfish, though. They're looking for anything at all to potentially mop up a point here, but it's not enough. It's too little, too late, and unfortunately for Anglerfish and Anglerfish fans, we will not be seeing a scoreline tie to 3-3.
Not yet, at least. We could see one in the future. The script has not yet been written. It's not scripted. We're gonna see the Uber ad for Sin, but will it matter? Because we see Anglerfish jumping straight in. We see the Soldier Kyler doing so much damage. And Brummies gets taken down. Anglerfish might say, fuck it, we don't want another forward hold. We don't want another Uber ad situation. Let's just go straight in. Take it before Sin gets Uber. They're going in. Great Mage gets taken by use. Taz takes Tristan down. Anglerfish, they don't want any of this anymore, and they get Ubered into. They're trying to run away, but Slice goes down, and Kyler and Dennis, what can they do when they're on 4 health and 82? I don't even know where Dennis is, but he's not in the position to back up.
Yeah, this is not an ideal push at all for the side of Anglerfish, and it is that's. I mean, what can one say besides unfort? You know, it is what it is. You know, there's only so much they can do there. Once their Uber, or once their push rather, was kind of beans, there's only so much they can do. They are going to be able to find Minaj as he tries to get into mid. But it is going to be Tristan now going for another bomb. Not going to be able to find anything as Dennis and now Tristan go down. Kyler going to go down. Slicer going to go down as well. What is this play from the side of the Anglerfish here? I don't know if they had a plan thought out there. They are going to be able to have Great Mage in. Is going to be able to win that fight against Moose. Is going to be able to grab that health pack inside of Blue IT just before getting taken down. So will survive. Maybe pinching Taz, who is in Red Sewer, will be eating a rocket from Tristan, who ends up cratering. He is going to be met by 3 spawners. Will get taken down by VO here. And at this point, it is pretty much still a second stalemate as Anglerfish still control mid, and they're going to be controlling mid. They're going to maintain that control as Quake Live didn't have the players, still doesn't have the players to really push in, and doesn't even have the space to kind of posture forward, get some pressure before they even push through, get those players away. It is going to be a bomb coming in from Kyler. Now a second bomb coming in from Tristan. Actually going to be a fade there. Will be curving towards IT to try and bully Brummies out, who is at 150, looking to potentially jump out from IT. Is caught inside, will be jumping in behind the rest of the players, is going to get a kill onto VO, but a lot of the players on the side of Quake Live, including Sin, are going to go down with Minaj dying there. Now Use as well. It's kind of up to Taz, and I believe this is Moose, to try and find something. Slice Rogue potentially going to drop here. Not a drop per se, but I would say that's a pretty massive drop. You know, you had 70% Uber and then you get jumped by a soldier. That's pretty much a drop in my book. Quake Live will be able to hold on to that to that second point, at least for the time being. But this is a pretty, I mean, this is that kind of bare knuckle boxing fighting that I was kind of describing earlier. A lot of back and forth where players are just dying left and right, but no real ground is being made.
Yeah, Sin at 160 for points, casually showing off that staying alive assist gets all of your score on the scoreboard. We have Dennis again on the lock and load. I don't think we've ever seen anyone switch off the lock and load this match. I'm kind of surprised by that. Both these demos rocking the lock. We're going to see a sewer push, some sort of Uber ad push. It looks like they're sending Use straight in onto Slicer Rope. Slicer Rope, you don't have Uber yet, buddy. You were too far forward. Unfortunately, goes down 97% to Moose and Minaj. So unfortunate for Anglerfish fans who see their team starting to crumble. Sin's going to have Uber ad. They're probably going to take second for free. And then Quake Live, they have not been the ones to fail the full ad last pushes. So if you're an Anglerfish fan, you better be watching because this might be the moment they go home. We see Quake Live taking it into second. There's no resistance, no sticky traps. Everything's been dead. There's no sniper, only the Great Mage on NG and a heavy weapons guy on our stock weapon, I believe that is. Actually, that might be the Brass Beast skin. I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Brass Beast.
That is, in fact, the Ass Beast up on this match right here. Up in left heaven, oddly enough. I don't know if they're wanting to play here and just kind of hold right up here, but I guess that is going to be Quake Live coming in from the left side. It is a Pudis for the post as Brummies is up on Pudis of their own. Taz going to go down here. Vio dying as well. Quake Live probably going to be able to squeak out this round, but there are a lot of bodies on the point from the side of Anglerfish, but there's only so much they can do as Quake Live slowly waddles their way forward with that Pudis, just absorbing a lot of the damage, not going down at all during that fight, just getting arrow tanked, just getting a lot of those heals, and whittling down a lot of the players on the side of Anglerfish, preventing them from really playing as far forward as they wanted to, and that's going to give Quake Live a win on Anglerfish's map pick, concerningly enough for the Anglerfish fans. We will be moving on to Quake's map pick, to Bagel, I believe, as our next map.
Yeah, Bagel is our map. Bagel was the pick of Quake Live. Anglerfish picked Process. Folks, it's never a good sign when you pick a map and you can't close out the full ad last pushes. What's going on, Anglerfish? Unfortunate for them. They just had like 4 or 5 full ad last push attempts. You know, that adds up to 6 or 7 possible rounds on the board for Anglerfish, ignoring the fact that that isn't possible, but that could have happened. Could have seen that, but unfortunately they just couldn't push the last. Quake Live picked Bagel. That's coming up, but you know, for Anglerfish, if you're an Anglerfish fan, guess what? You don't have to push last to win Bagel. You never actually have to push into that last respawn area to win that map.
Yeah, there's no concerns of having to try and push through as many chokes as you need to worry about on a map like Process, where you have to try and break those second holds. It's definitely going to be much more of a DM-focused map, and I think, again, this is gonna be in the favor of Quake Live. Minaj and Moose are both extremely strong scouts, and I know I keep saying it, but I'll say it until the end of time. These guys their DM is extremely good. I'm pretty sure Minaj was on the winning team in Open in Season 13, and then immediately jumped up to main, and then got third in main, and then won main the season after, if I'm not mistaken. And now he's playing in Advanced. Like, these guys know what they're doing. They're extremely strong players. So I have no doubt in my mind that the DM, at least, is going to be in favor of Quake Live. But we do have the logs, if we want to go ahead and look over these just before the Bagel match starts. And Use is up there at the top of the DPM chart, closely followed by Dennis, mind you. Only a 5 DPM difference, but the staggering amount of kills that were just not able to be converted by Anglerfish because they I guess couldn't section off as many players as they wanted, because when they were able to section people off, they got a lot of kills off of it, but a 30 kill difference in a 4-2 game that's a little rough.
It's definitely rough. Other things that stand out, I feel like the biggest thing is kind of the roamer difference. Brummy's 32 and 32. That's like a pug stat line where you're just bombing in, constantly dying, but you're getting a kill every time. Tristan 15 and 42. That is the jail roamer roll right there.
Oof.
1542. Honestly, is like just like get me out. I am ready to not be playing this class next season. But I feel like the damage basically even when you look at it, but the frags are that way. That's probably more indicative of a broader team issue. You can't just put that and be like, yeah, it's the roamers' fault. They just shouldn't have gone 15 and 42. Something bigger was happening.
Yeah, there is absolutely something more strange afoot, something nefarious happening within the team structure of Anglerfish for their roamer to be going 15-8-42, still have 250 DPM, still be going damage positive in spite of all of the deaths they have. Having 99 health pack score. I mean, they're just shy behind the other soldiers. They're only about 9 behind Brummies. Not about, they are just 9 behind Brummies. They're only 5 behind Taz. You know, having the third highest health pack score in the game there. They're trying their best. I mean, we saw Tristan go in for a lot of plays that were kind of just necessary. It felt like they were kind of just playing a salvage simulator, really, with how often they had to just throw themselves in and try to find some kind of kills, some kind of force, some kind of pick to make things work for their team. So I guess you can't really blame them too much for ending up going 15 and 42, but, you know, it's just, hopefully, you know, they're great players. You know, regardless of what the stats say, logs only tell a portion of the story. I mean, we saw the value that Tristan had on the cast, getting a lot of that space made as well. So hopefully the stats there don't affect the mindset. Hopefully he comes into Bagel thinking, I am going to own. This is my map. I bet you right now, we're going to see Tristan nuclear game. I have a good feeling. Mostly because I want this to go to 3 maps. I don't want Quake Live to, you know, stomp based off DM alone on Bagel. I do want this to go to a 3rd map. So I'm hoping Tristan has a good game this time around, and hopefully Anglerfish as a whole can figure out what that issue was that kind of just forced them into being forcing them into being a kind of salvage crew pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, hopefully they figure that out. It might involve taking the initiative a bit more. You know, we saw them win those mid fights, so if they can keep that energy up, because mid fight is basically DM Anglerfish. They won most of the mids. I don't think we mentioned that in the logs. Yeah, they had 5 mid fight wins on process. Quake Live only had 2. Anglerfish, if they can take control of this map early in the rounds, it will give them some buffer, you know. If things go wrong later in the round, well, that's okay. It's caught. If you take a minute off at first, though, it gives you some room.
Yeah, that's it does give you some room, and I think Anglerfish is gonna have a better time on the initial fights and going for, you know, refights on Bagel, because like you said, well, I don't actually I don't remember if this is what you said at all. Really, I am kind of going with whatever my half lucid brain is cobbling together right now. But I think you said that the point fight on Hoth is a lot like a mid fight. It is just kind of DM. Pretty much a mid fight is just DM. So if you can apply that kind of mindset to Koth, it's a smaller point, which I think is going to benefit Anglerfish a little bit more, because like we saw on Process, they were able to section players off. If they're able to do that again and they're able to get a lot of coordinated spam through a certain lane, they may just be able to win off of spam alone. And that's going to force Quake into, you know, taking some riskier house shoves, you know, throwing people into the houses to try and prevent that spam, trying to throw people up on high ground where they may end up getting, insta-gibbed because they have to take a lot more space than they may be comfortable with, than they may be, allotted to take. They have to take those risks. I think Anglerfish, for the, like, at least initial and refight kind of portions of the game, is going to prosper. But I think in terms of general DM, Quake Live still takes the cake there.
Yeah, that's your opinion. I'm kind of a Great Mage VO fan. I think we're gonna see Anglerfish. I think Anglerfish is gonna win out on the DM. I know how utterly insane that sounds, but that's just my feeling. It's a,
Well,
it's a vibe thought, you know?
I mean, it's not even insane. It's just, I think, because Quake Live has excellent scouts, they're going to be able to deal with the bombers a lot better than Anglerfish will be able to. They'll be able to respond quicker. They'll be able to kind of just decimate them out of the sky. A lot of the times, like we saw on Process, where those bombers would just get mulched every single time they went in. But again, Anglerfish had 5 mid-fight wins on Process. I think this is going to be a Bagel match where there is back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and it just doesn't end. The point is going to flip like 30 times or something within the 3 minutes allotted to each team. There's going to be a lot of flip-flops in who owns the point. There's going to be a lot of flip-flops in who's, controlling the most space. I'm hoping Anglerfish will be able to claim this one as a dubski. And again, I hope they figure out what was kind of going wrong on Process, which forced them to be a kind of salvage crew. But DM-wise, we are at odds here. You think Anglerfish is going to be the superior DM team, which I can see. I mean, I don't think it's impossible for Anglerfish to kind of lock in. Maybe they're more of a Koth team, who knows? But yeah. I guess time will tell.
Time will tell, especially as we get our 6th player in for the side of Quake Live, and these lads ready up. Someone might have been taking a smoke break or something, maybe just playing around, but after that Process game, these players definitely wanted to do something like that. For this map, I want to see the aggression. I want to see the flank plays. I don't want to see any just sit around and spam. I don't want to see any of that. I want to see 3 players run through right house, 2 players run through left house. I want to see the medic get bombed across point. I want to see all of that. That's what I'm expecting. One of these teams, I don't know which one it'll be. Maybe it'll be both teams at the same time. Maybe they'll both sell out for the medic at the start. I don't know, but I feel like one of these teams is going to just send it explosively the moment this midpoint opens up.
Yeah. I think there is not going to be a fight where there is a moment of calm before the storm. It is just going to be a storm constantly, I think. There's not a lot of room, especially with how these teams are going to be fighting one another. There's no room, really, for calmness unless there's like a full team wipe or enough players eliminated on the side of either team, really, to kind of force them away and make them run back to their spawn. I mean, that's really the only time we're going to see calm. Maybe in preparation for a 4-man, or, getting themselves ready for a forward hold. Those are really the only moments of calm I think we're going to see, because every time a player lays eyes on another player, I think it is going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, I do think that will be the case. It's like passive, if you had perfect players on your team playing passives, all good. You can bait out the aggression, you can punish those players who overextend, but that's not just how it works, Just gotta play the game on your own terms. That's why teams don't usually like playing passive unless it's at the absolute highest level. It's just go in, do what you're gonna do, and the other team won't react instantly, and you'll get a frag and it'll go well. And I think these teams know that and they want to do that. And like I said earlier, we do have 12 in the server finally. They're going to be going live, no doubt soon. Some pre-game DM stats, what you were saying might be true. We do have all the DOMs on the side of Quake Live. They are doming the other team in the pre-game. Not to mention Great Mage is AFK, not warming up. So maybe you were right. Maybe the DM really is on the side of Quake Live here.
If not in favor of anyone else, it is going to be in favor of the scouts 100%. I think as great as the players on Anglerfish are, I just think Quake Live has the better scout pairing with how well their DM is. But finally, we are going live with the second map in the best of 3 series of this advanced upper bracket final on Bagel here with Quake Live versus Anglerfish. For those of you just tuning in, right off the bat, so much spam being exchanged, but not really any damage coming out of it. Just a couple rockets getting thrown here and there, you know, rocks being thrown across the pond, but nothing really coming out of it. They're hitting the shallow end of the water, not creating a big ripple in the pool. But finally, we do see a little bit of the cap getting edged out. That is going to be a lot of damage coming out onto Brummies, and it is going to be an attempt to push through White House. Or I believe this is Blue House from Tristan. They're not able to get through. They do end up losing Tristan on the side of Anglerfish, but they do have that point capped initially, getting 10 seconds off right off the bat. Gonna be pretty good for them in terms of time. Sin, very, very weak here. If they can maybe have a soldier go through quickly, maybe Kyler or Tristan, if they can get in fast, could land on top of them, but they do manage to find that pack. So right off the bat, I mean, there is no calm here. It's just spam and a lot of damage getting traded between these teams. We do have Minaj looking to convert that cap, and they are successful on the side of Quake Live. With about 30 seconds of time they need to catch up on. Anglerfish has superior overheal here. Actually, as I say that, a lot of their players go into the red. Their health is in debt right now. They are going to try and bump forward and get a little bit of space, but not going to be too successful in doing so. And right now, I think it is calming down ever so slightly, but I think a big fight is around the corner.
Yeah, that is what I'm seeing. Tristan went in, jumped out of the house, kind of baited everyone, but we do see the trade happening on point. And here it is, the flank shove. No, he just runs away. Vio, I thought he was going to run down the house. Baited me again, ran out. Trades are happening, though. Minaj is down. Vio fighting it out on point again. Moose is kind of coming out on the worst end of this fight. Maybe not. We do have a soldier through house shooting down onto point who gets taken down. Taz goes huge on that frag for Kyler. It opens it up all the way for the side of Quake Live to run in. Great Gage does take down Brummies on the other side, though, and we do see Taz flanking actually in house, trying to find a scout. Tristan, though, gets that one cleaned up as Anglerfish comes back in, is wanting to storm the point, take it down. They're running all the way across point. Can they catch up the scout? Moose down to 33, gets caught out. Minaj down to 39, goes down as well. Anglerfish has they have the forward positioning, and Anglerfish, they're down on time, but if they do a good forward hold, they can run down the clock right now.
Yeah, if Anglerfish is able to hold on to this point for a little bit longer, they are going to be able to get that time add, and I think this is a kind of position they don't really want to find themselves in. They're down Tristan here. They have that Uber. They do have the safety net. They are going to have to use it. Brummies is going to take himself out, but is going to get that force. And now a lot of the players in the red again. Their health is in debt. They're not going to be able to really recontest. And that is going to be the point recap for the side of Quake Live. But Anglerfish is able to get a little bit of time add, just barely squeaked out. They don't want to deny their players, so they wait an extra couple seconds to get that cap. They also just want to make sure they can bully away Anglerfish. That is going to be a bomb coming in from both soldiers on the side of on Quake Live, landing on top of Dennis. They are going to be able to get him, but not before Brent. Excuse me, but not before Brummies and Taz both go down. It is going to be Vio finding Moose and Minaj. Going to be able to find Slice Rogue there, so the beam dead for the side of Anglerfish. Sin living here on the side of Quake Live, also getting themselves an additional 30 seconds worth of cap time. This is pretty big for the side of Quake Live as they wait to try and push out onto concrete. They want to take an Uber fight here. That is a bomb coming in from the side of Kyler here, landing on top of the beam, though. It's 2 nice rockets. The Great Mage comes in from the top turnbuckle, finds Sin, is going to be able to take him down with the steel chair, and that is the beam pretty much dropping on the side of Quake Live. It's so close yet so far, and Anglerfish wanting to bust out here, but their health very, very poor. One scout pushing forward and hitting a nice couple meat shots could be all they need, but Great Mage and Dennis here, with the help of Slicer, getting themselves buffed up a little bit, are going to be able to hold on for dear life by the skin of their teeth, really, and manage to get themselves out onto the point.
Yeah, they do get that point with the Uber ad. Again, a chance to forward hold, this time with ad. Soldiers in main doing so much damage. Beams coming out. How is Sin pushing into the Uber? What are they doing? Who miscounted the Uber? Whose fault is this? Can you blame Sin? Can you blame else? I'm not sure. But we do see Moose behind on point. And somehow Slicero goes down. Quake Live, they pushed into full ad. They pushed into full ad and they won. I don't even know what to say anymore.
I am genuinely baffled that Quake Live was able to get away with that as much as they did. That is actually insane. They push into full ad and they get away with it. They go unpunished, essentially, for it. And they even have slight Uber ad going into this fight here. So this is very unfortunate for the side of Anglerfish, but I think it'll be just close to even enough that it won't really matter. Anglerfish is still ticking down time on the point as Quake Live has not yet converted it, and Anglerfish is kind of just putting those bodies on top of it, preventing them from capping for as long as possible. The point is finally going to flip as Tristan and Dennis go forward. They are going to get taken down. I believe this is maybe a 4-man, or at least Dennis maybe got caught too far forward, then Tristan tried to go in and help, or maybe go in for a sack. I'm not too sure, but as the time evens out, as things are getting closer and closer to drawing to a close, someone needs to make something happen quickly on either team, and really the ball is in Anglerfish's court. They are going to get that Uber just in time. They are going to use in through Blue House. They are going to be wrapping on around towards the point. It is going to be Taz jumping over from Nipple. Not a lot of no cap time at all really from the side of Anglerfish. They have to stand on top of this point, but the players realize a little bit too late. That's going to be a nice air pipe coming out from Use. It's going to be, I believe this is Vio trying to defend the point as much as humanly possible. Going to try and get so much cap time. It is going to be Dennis now walking forward, trying to land those Hail Mary pipes, just putting his body on it to try and get as much cap time as humanly possible. Great Mage maybe feeding here, may potentially go down. A bomb does come in from Brummies, is going to be able to find Use. Great Mage finding that pick there is going to be massive for the side of Anglerfish as they do manage to cap that point. And now Quake Glide is in their position as well, I mean, at this point, it's up to them to try and get their bodies on top of the point. It is going to be a nice flank coming in from Brummies through the Blue House. They are going to be able to find Great Mage and Slice Rogue here. Minaj going to be able to find Kyler as well. Now Vio, but they don't get themselves on the point in time. It's just too little too late, really, from those players. And Anglerfish is going to be able to convert the first round in a double overtime round, making the scoreline 0-1 in favor of Anglerfish.
Double overtime in the favor of Anglerfish. Anglerfish fans, stay awake. You're not dreaming. This is real life. Anglerfish ahead. And they're still playing. No one crashed. Nothing disastrous happened. Anglerfish, they're going to, I can feel it. I said I believe in Anglerfish, and I meant it. Kyler explodes himself with the stock rocket launcher. Not sure what that's about. Tristan's down as well. Anglerfish, they went for it, and it didn't work, but they were behind last round and they made it work. They're 4-man sacking, like you said. Great Mage down, Vio down, but Anglerfish, they kept their med alive.
Yeah, Anglerfish being able to keep their beam alive there is going to be massive for them. They will be able to kind of construct some kind of plan, maybe find some way to push out, but as it stands, they're going to be forward held into oblivion, almost. They're going to have to maybe try and use through concrete, but it actually looks like they're going to opt to go through Valley. Taz is going to be bombing forward, going to be able to get that force onto Slice Rogue. Both scouts going to be turning around for it, so there's no one to chariot the beam forward and try and catch those players who are still holding forward, and it does look like Sin is probably going to be able to survive and get away. Does look like Use is going to trade out with Tristan here, though, so it's not all for naught. But unfortunately for the side of Anglerfish, they're going to have to leave someone close to maybe try and get that force on the way out, or at least get enough spam in some kind of forward hold that they, are ready to give quickly, because there's only so much they can do while at massive Uber disad like this, as Quake Live is looking to push out, and they're already on concrete. They have their scouts forward on the point. They're getting those bodies. They're getting the cap time. It's already halfway. Quake Live is really asserting themselves here, but Anglerfish is pushing their presence a little bit further forward. Vio, Great Mage, and Dennis going to be pushing a little bit further in than necessary, and it is going to be Tristan, Kyler. Now it's going to be a full team wipe for the side of Anglerfish, almost as Vio, just barely, by the skin of his teeth, is going to be able to survive the scrap in lobby. But so many players trying to defend the point there on the side of Anglerfish. Didn't turn out too well for him, and they will be at slight time disad, massive Uber disad. So it's 4-man o'clock, it's sack o'clock, if you will.
That is what it is, but Uber goes off. It looks like that might not have been a sack, but an intentional use. They're almost going to get Slicer Rogue, but they make it back and spawn just in time. 3 down. You know, maybe Quake Live thinking, let's just use the Uber. It's going to be a while until we can keep forward hold. We're going to buy off a lot of them with this, and they are right about buying off a lot of time. We do see Anglerfish going the other way now. They're going towards the lower right area with every single player on their team who's watching left lobby. They have their roamer there. It's okay. Actually, their pocket soldiers there. Tristan goes down, trades for Minaj, trying to take down Brummies as everyone chasing in. Looks like that roamer is going to make it out alive. Use down to 18 health. There's a player behind, but Use goes down. Soldier bombing in. Is Slice going to pop? Why does he pop?
Making it nuclear.
Tristan is in, but yeah, somehow Sin went down. I didn't see how that happened. Anglerfish, I don't know why they dropped, but you know what? It worked, so go for it.
I don't know what Slice Rogue decided to milk there for. He saw the rocket coming straight for him and didn't pop. Maybe he thought he could surf it or something, but that was a direct right into the knees and ended up taking him down. That's a massive drop for Quake Live to have. All things considered, that'll at least make it even so they can take a DM fight, which I believe they feel is in their favor. But Sin dying there is going to be good for them. I do believe they will be able to find a pick onto Slice Rogue here, but no, actually, as Vio is able to protect his beam on a nice 7-kill streak, nonetheless. Is going to be going in, trying to find this kill onto Taz. Will almost die for it. Does manage to narrowly escape with his life. But Quake Live is still sitting on a 1-minute time ad. This is looking pretty rough for the side of Anglerfish, at least for the time being, but they do have that Uber ad, which I think they're trying to hold on to. Vio is going to go down. The beam for Anglerfish is on 10 HP, barely managing to survive, but a hair on his chinny chin almost walks out into a rocket from Taz, but Great Mage is able to take him down. So at the very least, for Anglerfish fans, Tristan is going to be able to get the Minecraft kill onto Sin. Getting a med kill with the Minecraft is a little, in the big 25, is pretty crazy. But at least Anglerfish fans can rest easy for the time being, knowing they have full Uber ad, able to set up some kind of forward hold here and prevent Quake Live from getting too much time ad.
Yeah, that is what they are doing. We see Tristan doing so much damage in this doorway as he takes down Moose and takes a lot of the damage for his team, so everyone else didn't have to, but Slice still has to use the Uber. Unfortunately, Taz finding a direct onto the Great Mage. Great Mage is going to be so slow in that respawn. That's so unfortunate because that's going to give such an easy push to Quake Live. There's no soldier up. 60 seconds now. It's probably going to equalize before the cap goes off. Maybe not quite. We see Anglerfish trying to stem the tide, trying to stop this swarm of players running through, but Sin being patient, wants to wait for that Uber. It looks like Quake Live is not forcing anything. Kyler does go down on the flank as Vio takes this 1v1 in-house. 2v1 actually as that other player shows up. Vio takes frags. Taz takes down Great Mage as well, though. So Anglerfish, they tried to stop the point, but they lost so much. And I'm afraid this was a really bad time to lose a lot of players. Now they're dealing with 20 seconds and a forward spawn. That's going to mean Anglerfish has to just go. And this is known by the side of Quake Live, and so they're going to try to block this team from getting in by holding these doors aggressively, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're just Ubering straight in. Anglerfish, you have 10 seconds in an enclosed area. What are you going to do? You're going to use Uber, run forward with your scout, but what are you going to do? There's no one to chase. Everyone's gone already. This Uber finds absolutely nothing. We're going to see Quake Live standing on point with Use. Anglerfish is running forward in the houses, though. Dennis goes down. Great Mage goes down. It's chaos on this fight, and it's gonna be the side of Quake Live taking this one unless they all kill bind.
Yeah, this is unfortunate for the side of Anglerfish fans. They had such an advantage earlier, but they just weren't able to make the most of it. Getting forced in that 4-man is very unfortunate. Maybe if they were able to hold on to it and that 4-man didn't get through as far as it did, maybe they could have held a little bit differently. Things could have been different for them here. I don't think it would have changed things too drastically, but they would have been able to take a more advantageous fight, not have to be on the back foot as hard as they were. That is going to tie up the scoreline, though, 1-1 on this Bagel match between Quake Live and Anglerfish. We are going to be watching this next mid, this is actually one of the calmer mids, I think. We do have a house shove coming in from Brummies. He gets in through blue house, is going to be bombing onto the concrete, going to be landing on top of the demo. That's going to be Dennis going down. Brummies going to be traded out. Minaj dying earlier as well, but Taz going to be able to find a pick onto Kyler. So that is going to knock out one of the soldiers for the side of, I believe that will be Anglerfish. And unfortunately for the side of Anglerfish as well, that Taz is able to get in and find the pick onto Slice Rogue. But also, fortunately for Anglerfish, they have a much, much faster respawn than Quake Live, but they do end up advancing the spawn of Sin here, and somehow, some way, Sin is actually able to get a heal target before Slice Rogue, despite spawning 5 seconds after him. So, no crazy ad for the side of Anglerfish. It will be pretty much almost perfectly even, really. We are going to be seeing Quake Live trying to pressure out a little bit from Concrete, not trying to push out, just trying to get that pressure so they can get some valuable info, see where their players are holding, see what the situation is, try and bust someone through maybe. And I think that's what they're going to be going for now as they rotate over towards the right side. Demo going to be looking to come through main here. And I'm thinking, honestly, if I'm Quake Live here, I'd be thinking this is, you know, a decent chunk of ad, maybe 20, 25, 30. As there was a solid amount of time where Slice Rogue could have been building, and I think maybe, just maybe Quake Live wants to play around it like that. Use is going to be able to find that pick onto Kyler, and now it's going to be Tristan bombing forward, trying to land onto Sin here, and not going to be able to get anything, though. Tristan going to go down. It's going to be Brummies going down to the hands of Vio, though, and now Taz trying to jump forward. Will have to jump away as his health is a little poor and doesn't exactly land where he wants to. Can't commit. Will die if he does, so that's just an unfortunate situation to find himself in. But Quake Live posturing themselves in front of this point. Youth's going to be able to find Vio here as they are down a minute worth of time. That is going to be a bomb coming forward from the side of Dennis. I believe they're just looking to try and get that Uber out from the side of Quake Live, and they are successful. So right now, it's just up to Great Mage, who is inside of Red House, trying to take the fight with Moose here, but is fighting a losing battle now with Minaj here to bail him out as well. 2v1 is just unfortunate.
Tristan does take down Use on point with some great rockets, showing off that BM Rico Swab style as they used to have their alias as usually. Kyler doesn't find a frag though, and everyone for Anglerfish is going down. Kyler might have been caught actually in this door, unfortunately for him. With that, we have kind of even on the time, but again, it seems like Quake Live finds himself not only even on the time, but in a really strong position with a forward hold. We do see the breakage happening on the lower right side as Minaj gets pushed back. So this time, Quake Live is not able to put the cinch on with that hold. However, Anglerfish, they kind of have to do something with it, and they do. They take down Brummies. Tristan goes down, though. What is Anglerfish going to do? They don't have Uber yet. Great Mage goes in ahead of the team. It looks like Dennis wanted to sue a 4-man sack or something, but now how are you going to? Everyone is just getting caught out, picked apart by Anglerfish. Such a promising situation turned back into a forward hold for Quake Live.
Yeah, this is not the kind of situation you want to find yourself in if you are an Anglerfish player, an Anglerfish fan. Any kind of rooter for Anglerfish does not want to see them in this situation. We do have Taz jumping in, landing on the window, going to be landing a nice couple rockets, is going to be able to get the force onto Slice Rogue here, so they have to go out, they have to find something quickly. They are going to be able to get the counter pop out from the side of Quake Live. They're going to be chasing through lower here. They are going to be able to find Dennis in the tail end of that Uber as everything is fading away. Great Mage going to be dying inside of lobby as well, but this is horrible for Anglerfish right now. They actually do manage to find Brummies, which, you know, it could be worse for wear for Anglerfish actually now that they have as many players down as they did. I thought maybe it would take them a couple more seconds to try and bust out there. Maybe they would fear a little bit more, but they don't fear. They wanted to take that aggression, and they absolutely did. That's going to be Kyler taking down Minaj. Taz going to be able to find Dennis, but will get traded out by Kyler in the back line there, as now we do see Anglerfish with slight Uber ad may potentially be able to set up some kind of forward hold if Dennis is able to roll out soon enough, but I don't think it will be. And Vio is going to go down a little bit too far forward. That's going to be a bomb coming in from, I believe this is Tristan here. The Uber does come out from the side of Anglerfish as well. They do find Moose and Brummies in that as well. Now it's time for them to look for some kind of spam force, maybe throw in a soldier. As Taz is now dead, they only have Minaj alive, who's now very weak, as Tristan is in behind them. Now's the most opportune time to try and get something, as Sin is super weak. The force does come out from the side of Quake Live. It is worth the death of their demo there as they get that kill. They're going to be able to hold on to this point a little bit longer, and even if Quake Live manages to flip the point for a couple more seconds, Anglerfish is going to be able to come in and recontest that, but not if they keep their beam in as far as they are, as Slice Road gets completely collapsed on concrete. Way too aggressive, way too greedy, and does get taken down for it.
They do get taken down completely. Slicer Rogue just spawned up. Sin, Uber is not going to matter unless somehow Anglerfish caps the point. But again, we see Quake Live forward holding so aggressively. Lower left is going to be the breakthrough. We see everyone get in very cleanly for Anglerfish, but Brummy being the first to fall is kind of surprising their task as well. It looked like Quake Live maybe overheated, maybe they just want to play the ad, but if you wanted to play the ad, why not keep your team alive to do something with the Uber? Instead, it looks like Sin is going to get taken down. They're just so standing in the middle of nowhere, in the no man's land, as you could call it. But Anglerfish, they sent everyone 3 down. No scouts for Anglerfish. What can you do without scouts? You can send your soldier in behind, go die, apparently, is what is going to be the play. Anglerfish standing on point, just has Denisovich trying to hit their pipes, can't. Goes down. Anglerfish down 2-1, it looks like.
Anglerfish will be down 2-1 with that score line going up in favor of Quake Live now, as they managed to claw back that round lead that we saw Anglerfish take so early on in this game. But Anglerfish is getting these rounds extremely close. We've had double overtime, and then within 5 seconds of reaching double overtime. So Anglerfish is, you know, they're making their presence known. They are taking a lot of good fights. They're just making a lot of large blunders as well, and they're adding up. That is going to be Minaj able to push through Red House here, getting in front of, I believe that was Kyler, will be taking him down. Now it's going to be Dennis going down as well. Brummis going down for the side of Quake Live. That's going to be Great Mage trying to push forward, and Yu's going to be able to find Vio, and that is going to be the cap, the first cap rather, on the side of Quake Live. Slice Rogue is too far in, looking to save someone that isn't there, has no one there to chariot him out as well, and will get taken down. I don't remember who. I do believe it was a scout, so it's either Minaj or Moose that was up in front of him. I think it was Moose that ended up taking him down, and that's going to be rather massive for the side of Quake Live, as they are trying to get themselves a nice forward hold here. They are holding rather close. It looks like they want to use this if they can, but it's a massive drop as Tristan bumps in from the blue house and lands just above Sin. No one notices he was there, so he is going to be able to get that free bomb in, get the free drop on the side of Quake Live. Now Anglerfish has to watch out for a scout or a soldier coming in behind him. Minaj comes in from the launch pad and will get the pick onto Slice Rogue. So all for nothing, really, as they get that drop, but they lose their own medic in return and will be down about 15-20 Uber, as, you know, that's kind of slight ad, but on Bagel, even 10% can be round changing.
It can. Even 1%, some could say. We have seen 99% drops before. We see Slicer Rogue coming in as everyone for Anglerfish fights this point. Taz goes down to the Great Mage. Great scattergun shots there from our boy on the Anglerfish side. We have Vio taking it out on point. Great Mage as well, back on it. Cap goes down. Minute and a half down for Anglerfish. Sin with the ad. Like you said, even 10% ad can be impactful. We see Anglerfish continuing to fight over the point because they don't want to give it up, but they do know Sin probably has the Uber by now. And it looks like there's going to be a fight straight over on point as this demo use jumps so aggressively. Great Mage actually finds a frag. Tristan and Dennis do get caught out, unfortunately for them. And Anglerfish, oh, why are they over chasing? Quake Live is over chasing into the lobby, and they get absolutely beaten down. Use, get out of here.
They are getting turbo punished.
Yeah, they are. And it looks like Sin is going to get caught too. Vio's chasing it. I think Vio has to give it up with Brummy spawning in. Anglerfish, this is how you go from down 2 minutes to winning the game. Your opponents just basically all killbind with the exception of their medic. We do see the forward hold being attempted here as Anglerfish pushes Quake Live back. They're actually taking it into lobby, but the Quake Live baited them perfectly. Sin's not falling for that. Sin's all the way back in spawn already. Anglerfish just popped their Uber, but they did get 2 frags with it. It was not all for naught. They will get those frags. Like I said, they're going to try to probably force this off or something. They do find Brummies actually so aggressively. Great Mage. What a shot.
Yeah, being able to find both Brummies and Minaj there is going to slow down Quake Live pretty significantly. Will not give Anglerfish any substantial Uber to work with, but it will let them prepare just a little bit longer. It will let whoever is playing towards wood, towards valley area to, you know, spot for a little bit longer, see maybe if they reveal their plans, telegraph it a little bit earlier so they can kind of prep for it. But that Uber is going to get popped by the side of Quake Live. It is going to now be faded as Dennis stays in a little bit too long, and there's no one with him to kind of protect him against those players that are collapsing onto him from concrete. So he will die. Brummies is going to die in lobby as Taz trades out with Vio. Now Taz going down to the hands of Tristan, but will trade out with Kyler as it's 2 players down for either team, 1 scout down for the side of Anglerfish. So they do need to look out for potentially a maybe a head-on scout kind of fight, as 2 scouts alive for the side of Quake Live. Both of them have shown that they're able to take these kind of one-on-one fights and win them very confidently a lot of the time, but I don't know if that's what they want to be going for. They do need to try and find as many picks outside of this Uber as they can, as the Uber does get popped on the side of Anglerfish. It is going to be Moose getting caught. Sin almost dying here, will die just at the end of that Uber, will not be able to hold on to his life no matter how hard he tries. The 10 seconds left until Quake Live wins this round here. Anglerfish needs to get some bodies on the point. I don't know what they're waiting for, letting this go to overtime or something, but maybe they're looking to deny the beam for as long as possible to try and get as much Uber ad potentially. I'm not too sure what their plan was.
Yeah, like you said, overtime, Anglerfish, maybe they're just an overtime team. Maybe they needed an overtime in order to play well. Quake Live playing passively, they want to bait out this Uber again. I don't think Anglerfish are going to fall for it, you know, as they say, fool me once. But we do see the soldier jumping in. Great Mage just takes that frag down. As I say it, Dennis takes it. Actually, Kyler jumped in, and so they get the force. Quake Live got the force. Sin gets Dennis with the crossbow. How is that allowed? Dennis is on that 12-second respawn. How's that going to work? Vio does take down Minaj, though. But, I mean, all you need is to cap it once, and capping it once when you have Uber is a lot easier. But for some reason, Brummies didn't killbind. Brummies went in so late. That's going to allow Dennis to get here in time before Sin uses this Uber. That means Anglerfish is going to have a much easier time counter fighting this. Taz is in-house, is spotted though. Minaj is on point, eating a lot of stickies. What's Anglerfish going to do? They're going to lose their soldier, but they get the force. Taz goes down, so it's going to be even players after this, but they have to block the point. Anglerfish, get on point. Where are the lads? Where are they?
Oh my.
Oh no.
Well, that is just unfortunate. I don't know if they just forgot about the point there. I don't know if they were too focused on chasing. I don't know what the thought process was for Anglerfish there, but they have to play this perfectly now. They're down 2 rounds. If Quake Live wins this next round that we are watching unfold right in front of us right now, they win at the upper bracket finals, and I believe that, you know, throws them into grands. And we will have to see Anglerfish try and claw their way back up in the lower bracket. But I guess time will tell how that plans out, as Tristan and Kyler both go in, get nothing for it though, aside from some damage that no one can mop up on. It is going to be Brummies dying to Great Mage, and I think Great Mage trying to peek into lobby there does meet Taz, won't die, but will get the spook of his life. Might need to find a change of pants there as a rocket jump scares him. Dennis actually getting taken down by Use, and his Hail Mary pipes towards Valley. It is a big bomb coming in from Tristan there, as they do manage to find the force. I believe popping to save their players there on the side of Quake Live, opting to hold on to the lives they have. Great Mage is stuck behind, not choosing to killbind, wants to try and get some kind of pick, but that will set him back a significant amount. And now Kyler going down as well, trading out with Taz at the bare minimum.
Yeah, they did trade out with Taz, and we see Slice at 85%. Brummies goes down, though, so that's no soldiers. Anglerfish, they could take this without even using Uber, but will they? Will they is the question. Minaj is behind, takes down Great Mage, but Anglerfish, they sent everyone back, playing it real slow, real slow. They're not afraid of Quake Live taking down the clock. Apparently, they're not. They were down 1.5 minutes last time. Why not be 1.5 minutes down this time, too, right? Tristan down, so they're going to wait another for the spawn. They didn't actually wait for that spawn. Kyler down to 60 health. Anglerfish, it feels like they have ad, but they're just taking pain for it. The sack is coming in. Air shot missed by Dennis. Use almost hitting that air shot. Slice hits that pipe, hits the pop. Brummies goes down, but Anglerfish, how do you let it get capped under you? Maybe that's a good thing, actually. Maybe you can just... Oh, they extended their spawn, though. I'm not sure they wanted to do that.
Yeah, I don't think letting Kyler have his spawn extended here is the plan. He is going to have to show up very late here. Tristan is going to take himself down, trying to fight Moose there. Moose will actually find Slice Rogue. Now Vio going to go down as well, so there's no real classes that can contest, as Great Mage is only on 90 HP, so one good meat shot will take him down, and they are gonna get into a big scrap down towards wood there. Will end up getting taken by Brummies. So for Anglerfish right now, it's not looking great. They're about 50 seconds worth of time disad. Quake Live is just trying to become a wall, really. That's all they have to do. They just have to hold confidently and make sure that no one can push through. They are going to be able to find Dennis. Now Tristan as well as he tries to jump in. Maybe this is their 4-man attempt. I'm not too sure. Kyler jumping forward from Slice, going to land a nice rocket onto Moose, but it's just, I don't think it matters. Is that... This is just unfortunate for Anglerfish, with Slice Rogue being dead as well. I mean, there's only so much they can really do. There's 50 seconds left until Quake Live takes home the dub speed here. Kristen is behind. I don't think they know. They are going to be able to get the force there, as they actually managed to trade with Minaj, as they don't get flashed. That Uber coming out will be rather massive for the side of Anglerfish. They have time to try and build this out and maybe take it a little bit slow, but I don't think they want to. They want to try and get forward as quickly as possible, because every inch of space matters right now, especially when you're down these 2 rounds. It's the penultimate round. You know, it's match point. If you lose the upper bracket final. You have to try and claw your way back, even if it's just by 1 round. You know, maybe you can claw yourself another one after. That is going to be Moose going down on the side of Quake Live. They will be down. A scout now down to Soldier as well, as Kyler is able to find Taz. Now Minaj, now Use, now Brummy's going down. It's just Sin alive all the way out to spawn, though. Will maintain the 50% Uber. Will be able to build this out in a timely fashion, and potentially will be seeding. We will be seeing maybe a 4-man, or potentially just seeing an exchange get ripped, but I think we're going to be seeing the former, as Minaj is up on Sniper. Oh, and finds Great Mage too.
Going down is Great Mage, but somehow Use just gets, dropped, actually. I was gonna say gets in cleanly, but gets immediately dropped. This Uber trade is not going the side of Quake Live. They're getting stuffed in-house. Look at this. Why is Sin trying to leave through main? That was the attempt, though. Goes down, maybe a miscomm. And Quake Live, they kind of just donated a 6K to the side of Anglerfish. Tristan, though, is going to be the one going down. Going to be a slow respawner because of that. There's going to be a chance for Kyler down too. No soldiers now for Anglerfish. Quake Live, this is their chance to just take it straight in. This is never going to be easier than this. Vio standing on the high ground, trying to find a frag. Does so much damage onto this scout. Minaj, I believe that is, but Vio eventually is going to have to give up the high ground or give up his life, and he gives up his life. Didn't want to give up the ground. Dennis, though, trades it out onto Minaj, as Moose trades it back onto that player. That's no scouts now, but Taz does take down Slicer Rogue on the other side of things. So Sin is going to be staying alive. That's going to be ad. That's going to be heal ad, Uber ad, everything ad, spawn ad. Everything is on the side of Quake Live, even the clock.
Yeah, everything is looking up for Quake Live here, as all they have to do really is put themselves on that point, and that's exactly what they're going to do. We're going to be seeing both soldiers on the side of Anglerfish. Now the demo, everybody's walking forward. They are up on crits here. They know that they are in dire straits. They need this crits to come online soon, as 10 seconds are left until Quake Live wins this, unless Anglerfish can manage to convert the cap. They don't manage to. It's just shy. They do still have time. It is overtime. They do still have the ability to try and get on that point, but there's so few players alive on the side of Anglerfish. I don't know if they possibly can. They're not going to get Uber in time. It's just Vio alive, and there's only so much he can do. The cap is about to revert, and Quake Live is going to be the winner in a decisive 2-0 map victory against Anglerfish in the advanced upper bracket finals.
Yeah, it is the advanced upper bracket finals. Quake Live, they take it. You predicted 2-1, and you might not have gotten that right, but you did get the fact that Quake Live would win correct.
Yeah, I mean, I had to trust the hairstylist, man. She told me it would be a Quake Live win. I had to go with the hairstylist intuition. She knows nothing about TF2, but she made the guess that Quake Live would win because she thought their name sounded a little similar to Quaker Oats, and that's what she equated them to. And apparently, she thinks those are goated. So I guess they had the hairstylist power flowing through them that match, but we do have the logs for this game and filtering by damage per minute. Minaj at the very, very top with 368, closely followed by Taz at 364. Minaj, 41, 20, and 25. Damage positive by over 100. That is a pretty insane stat line to be putting up.
Yeah, it definitely is, but actually, Great Mage kind of matched that at 41 as well. 26 deaths, just one more death, 5 less damage. Basically identical on those stats, which is kind of surprising. I'm not sure any of these players really diffed each other. It looks like everyone kind of had a really good game. I guess Taz might have been the standout who just did better than their counterpart. It looks like Kyler had half the frags as the other combo soldier, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just I I mean, there's not really a diff in any regard here. The kills are almost pretty even. Anglerfish with 142 and Quake Live at 155. Obviously, there's still a 13 kill gap there, but compared to the 30 we saw on Process, that is just I mean, with how close the kills were, I'm surprised we didn't see Anglerfish with more rounds on the board, but I guess they just couldn't convert a lot of the damage they were getting into those kills. I mean, they did also overextend a whole lot. They would lose players and they would bleed them. So a lot of the kills that Quake Live is getting is kind of just killing those stragglers and making sure that Anglerfish just has an incredibly difficult time trying to actually push through any doorways. But regardless of what the situation was there, that is going to be a Quake Live victory again. Decisive 2-0 victory in this series.
It is a very decisive. It's a very decisive result, like you said, as I stumble over my words. But I do believe, if I'm not wrong, Anglerfish is not out. I think there will be a lower bracket. Yeah, there should be an advanced.
I think they're going to move into the lower bracket, yeah, because they need to move into losers round 2, and whoever wins that will move on up into the finals. So maybe Anglerfish will be able to claw their way back and rematch against Quake Live during the grand finals. Time will tell, though, as they still need to win in the lower bracket finals and secure themselves a spot in grands. But that's a solid chunk of time away. Anglerfish has a lot of time to do some demo reviews and trying to figure things out. But I think until then, I do you have any shout outs before we go ahead and end this cast for the night?
Yeah, shout out to the production, Doctor underscore. Shout out to Fireside Cast for putting this thing together. And yeah, what are your shout outs?
Well, of course, again, shout out the production. Big thank you to underscore for actually producing for us for this cup. Of course, shout out you for casting with me today. Shout out my hairstylist for giving me the inside scoop on who was going to win tonight. Maybe they were one of the script writers, and I just don't know that they're a big part of RGL. Who knows? But yeah, I think that is going to do it for us tonight at Fireside. We will see you next time. Not sure when our next cast is going to be, but you will not want to miss it. Follow, turn on stream notifications. Make sure you don't miss whenever we go live again. And we will see you next time.